Hey everybody, Everyman prepping here. Hope you had a great weekend of having fun with the family, doing some prepping, all that great stuff. And at the end of the weekend, I want to talk about the big news that's come out that supposedly there's a Chinese biolab that was found in Reedley, California. Just recently we heard about it. It's the timeline we're going to go through, but it just didn't happen today. It goes way back in time into months ago. But what I want to talk about, I want to address, first of all, the fact that there's Chinese biolabs in the United States doing weird research. Is there one? Is there more? I want to talk about that, what they found, what they could be doing, ask you for your comments, what you think they're doing, all that good stuff. I'm going to give you some of my opinions. And then we're going to get put a little high octane speculation into it in the second part, a little tinfoil hat. Talk about the time frame, who discovered this, how it was discovered, and how they're presenting that to the public, because I think something's off with it. My spidey sense has gone off. There's just something not quite right. And I don't know the reason behind that, but I'll ask your opinion on that as well. So let's get into it. Let's start talking about, Chinese biolabs here in the United States and what are they looking to do and what they find in this one. And as I get it started here, let's go ahead and fire it up. Please like, comment, and share the video and subscribe to the channel. So I've noticed this quote here. I've never seen anything like this. Mysterious Chinese biolab discovered in remote California city. It's kind of a map here. It's blurry on my screen here, so I'm going to go to this one. This is the location here in Reedley. I'm going to back out. We're going to go back to that map a few times as we talk. It's in Fresno County. There's Fresno. It's a pretty good-sized town, but you can see basically it's in farmland. And it's not near the coast. It's a pretty remote part of California. So that's where we're starting. That is the first thing I want to tell people. Let me zoom in here a little bit. And then we'll go back to the article is, if a lot of people say, well, I'm in the country. Nothing can happen to me. We're safe. We're not in the city. Everybody tells you to move to the country. GTFO, the city, get to the country. We're safe. Well, things like this are going to happen in the country. Not as many prying eyes, not as many police, sheriff. In this case, a city code enforcement person found this. We're going to talk about why I think that's not really happened, but there's less city officials, less people, so you can kind of go under the radar, do stuff like this. I would expect it in country places. And you should too. So don't fall asleep out there in the country. Always stay vigilant. As the motto of our channel says here, keep your ear to the ground and head on a swivel, no matter where you're at, because these things will happen anywhere. So they're calling this a black market type of lab testing facility. This is it from the street. According to YourCentralValley.com reports, the discovery was made after a local code enforcement officer, this was a city one, noticed this garden hose poking out of the back wall. And what they're talking about is this. This little garden hose, when a code enforcement person was driving by, threw up the red flag, radar, biolab, must investigate. I don't believe that for a minute. We'll get into that in a second, but that's what they're saying. I want you to notice this is the flat part of the building here. By the way, it's the back faces the railroad tracks. There's a lot of weeds here. And this is an actual photo from the report. And they're saying the code enforcement drove by. We'll get into that, but you can see how the building goes out at an angle. So if we go back here, here's the angle. So I'm thinking about here's the hose bib. There's only one spot. You can see it by driving. We're going to take a look at that in the second half here, but I'm not so sure about that. Anyway, this is a picture supposedly also from the inside, and you see lab equipment, beakers, junk. They were probably doing stuff, yes. They said they found 900 genetically engineered mice, engineered to catch and carry COVID-19, of course, why not? Living in inhumane conditions, so they had to kill them all and all that. There's already some dead. And then, according to the CDC, they tested some substances they found there, and they found 20 infectious agents. They found coronavirus, HIV, hepatitis, herpes, among other things. And that was in the June 6th report. So like I said, we're already back in time. July 7th, they're saying it cleaned up. It's July 28th, 29th, what is today, 29th, I think. So we're already back into July. In June, where they said, that's what they had tested. So a lot of bad stuff in there. Boxes of junk, of course, everywhere, filled all over the place. The tenant was a prestige biotech company in Nevada, not licensed in California because, of course, why would you license your illegal biolab? And city officials, they spoke with some Chinese guys, last name is Yao, I believe, who was identified as the company's president through emails they got, the court documents. And he told officials that the stuff there was from a defunct other company, Universal Meditech here. and they moved it there, and that's about all they got out of them. We haven't heard anything about arrests or anything going on with that, so, who knows? But, let's go back to this photo here. Yeah, this is bad. Is there more than one? Yes. There's not going to be just one. One little biolab in a small town in California. Is that all the Chinese have? Probably not. What are they doing there? I don't know. Is it gain of function? I don't know. Are they trying to get mice to take HIV and COVID and herpes and let them loose in the population, infect the small town, and they carry it from there? Could be. Could they do, 10, 15, 20, one in each state, 50 of these labs, do it all at once? Possibly. Anything's possible out there. So you got to stay vigilant. When you're out there, like I said, no matter where you're at, is the next pandemic coming? I don't know. Maybe they're trying to. It's just not good. A lot of bad stuff out there. And this is maybe just be the tip of the iceberg. That's why the motto of our channel, keep your ear to the ground and head on a swivel, applies to city folk, country folk, everybody. Keep your eyes and ears ready and stay prepared. Like I said in the comments below, what do you think? Is this the only one? Are there more in the country? What do you think they were trying to do with the mice and what was going on with that? Obviously, it's not good. It's good they found this one, but let's go into what I talked about, how they supposedly found the story they're telling us about how they found it and when they found it, and are we in bigger trouble than we thought? So post your comments below, but let's go on to the next section here. So, and that deals with this Yahoo article here. We're going to go to some of the timing. This says all of the biological agents were destroyed by July 7th following a legal abatement process. All right, we know that. So according to court documents, city officials inspected the location on March 3rd for building violations. The garden hose, because, the guy driving by, guy or gal, they don't say that. That's the other thing. Let's go ahead and put that tinfoil hat on about this code enforcement person. So they're driving by, and they saw a garden hose, this one right here. And that alerted to them that there's something wrong going on. How we know that's not a hose bib? It's supposed to be there. I'm not, a contractor or anything like that. If you're a contractor or you're in code enforcement, right below, can you not have a garden hose sticking out of your wall? Is that a code violation? Why would that spark someone's interest? That is flag number one to me that something weird's going on. Like I said, and then now we're going to look at the distance of this. Let's go ahead and get into this. So this is the building. The hose has to be in this range. So if you're driving by, let's get out our little Google Street View guy here. And then let's turn. And as you can see, this is the rail yard behind it. This is the only road you can drive on. So if you're driving down, and we can get a little closer here, you can tell me that some garden hose way over here, as he's driving, because this is where it would have to be, sparked his or her, like I said, we don't know who it was, attention that that's a code violation. We got to investigate. I mean, look how far away it is. And you're going to see a garden hose. I mean, maybe you drove in this dirt lot, looked over there. What code enforcement is doing that? Person is doing that? I mean, has anybody done permitting on their house, dealt with code enforcement, built an add-on, got permits for anything, just dealt with the government? There's 24,000 people in this town. There's like one or two code enforcement officers probably. And from my dealing with them, doing remodels or dealing with permits, is those code enforcement people, they're not coming out unless they're called. And I don't know who's calling in on a garden hose. They're not doing extra work. They're not doing anything more than they have to. Now, we're talking about all of them. I know it's a broad stroke we're painting. We're not talking about all of them, but let's say 99% are just going to do their job. They're going to hopefully stay in their office. They hate leaving the office, but they're not out roaming around looking for garden hoses sticking out. They're going to come out when they're called, do the least amount that they need to, and basically go to, they're doing permit inspections. They're going to just roam around and find new stuff. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe a code enforcement person found this. Like I said in the comments below, right, what do you think? Do you think a code enforcement person found this? And if you are in code enforcement or you've been in there, what's your interpretation of how this happened? Do you think this would be something that would catch your eye to start the ball rolling? So think about that, because from this view, I don't think it happened. I mean, it's so far away, you're going to say that you saw that and it sparked you to want to investigate. And that gets us into the time frame. So, like I said, we were looking right here, this direction, and it sparked them. But it just makes sense to me. But let's get into the time frame. So, code enforcement person sees this, and you know what happens if they think there's a permit violation, something, they send a letter. They don't knock on the door right then. They don't go over and see. They don't, have the authority just to barge in, start looking around. No, they'll send you a letter. They'll contact the owner and say, hey, we think there's a violation here. We saw a garden hose. You need to fix it, remove it, and we're going to come out and recheck. And here's like a month or 2 weeks to do it. Well, upon doing that, Mr. Yao was probably notified by the building owner. They would have vacated that place. It would have been empty. There would have been nothing in there. At the first sign that the government was going to come look at that place, if you have an illegal biolab, you're GTFOing. You're vacating that place, getting rid of everything. You're setting it on fire. You're doing something, right? The fact that it was all intact, storage like that, live mice, that's why I'm not believing that story. But let's continue on with their story. So so this is back in March. It says on March 3rd, the building it was inspected for building violations. Well, that means before March 3rd, they sent the letters out. They gave them time. So, we're into February, and it's now July. We're hearing about it. So you're gonna tell me it took 5 months or so for this all to happen, and this is the first word we have of it? It was not big enough news to know before. I think they built the backstory, is what it is. They had to build the backstory. This might have just been found now. I don't know how they found out now, but they had to build a backstory. So, you say, back in February it's found. March 3rd, we inspected for violations. March 16th, it says here, an inspection by county public health allegedly turned up medical devices thought to have been developed on site, such as COVID and pregnancy tests. So, this is what I'm getting at here. I'll read it to you here. This is what I was talking about. You can see what the article I got that from. But, March 3rd, violations for building. Why wasn't the hose just taken out and everything was gone and they wouldn't even got inside, but they did. March 16th, the health people came, did their thing, found all kinds of weird stuff inside. Why wasn't it vacated out? It makes no sense. Like I said, I think they built a backstory. Maybe all this stuff just happened. They found it, went in there. Now they're like, okay, we have to go back in time and make, this, like I said, the conspiracy, the high-octane speculation. But I think they built a backstory of how this could have happened if code enforcement would have found it. Because this wouldn't have been all found like this. Code enforcement just doesn't work like that. It's not that fast. It just doesn't go in like that. So that's my theory. I don't know how it was found out or who found it, all that, but I don't think it was code enforcement just being the hero of the day. Because you know what? All these, I saw TV reports out there, reading everything I could have found on it. There's no name of the person, the code enforcement. That's the hero. I mean, they saved the day. But there's no name. If the person want to be anonymous, there's not even an interview where they do the interview from the back or off screen. And they tell, like, what made you find it? How did you find this hose? What were you doing? That's the great job. And nothing like that. Just totally, some guy found it. When I say guy, guy, girl, whatever. Some person found this, and that's how it clued us in. And we went through the courts, and we finally got rid of it. Like I said, not believing it at all, especially from, the distance that you'd be driving down this 10th Street and having to spot it from this angle. I'm not believing that at all. I'm not believing that someone actually drove by down this 10th Street, like I said, and I'll spin around here, and spotted a garden hose, and that's what started the ball rolling. Just not buying that. So, like I said in the comments below, write what you think. Do you think that really happened? And do you think something else is at foot? Do you think this is the only one? Do there are more biolabs? I just know that, in this asymmetrical warfare, if we get involved with Taiwan, China, they might not hit us boots on the ground here, but what if you just hit us with, pathogen releases? Why not take our system that way? There's also the hacking going on. There's the malware that came out this week, and that's in, all kinds of government systems, military systems, utility systems. So, if you hit us with all the infrastructure going down and a pathogen, do you need boots on the ground? I don't know. I just find this story very intriguing. I know it's getting a little play out. It's going to somewhat play out there on the main media where they're saying, congratulations to this person that found it. We took care of it. No big deal. But I want you to think about it more. I want you to use some critical thinking. Come up with theories of what could happen. Could help you prepare for all instances because you're thinking of different things that could happen to you, different things you need to react to. So that's all I have. I hope you got something out of this. And like we always say at the end of every video, keep your ear to the ground, head on a swivel.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.